86 years ago today, the Lionsgate Bridge opened in Vancouver. Crossing the Burrard Inlet, the total length of the bridge, including the North Viaduct, is 5,981 feet 1,823 meters, with the length of the main span alone exceeding 1,500 feet. It forms part of highways on A and 99, and total traffic averages 60,000 cars a day. The name Lionsgate is taken from the pair of cast concrete lions at the entrance of the bridge, and the name was taken by Lionsgate Films of Hollywood. Read about how the bridge was made. 1938 Lionsgate Bridge CC 3.0. Tom Richards, Alfred James Toll Taylor, an engineer with an interest in creating a bridge from the First Narrows to the North Shore, managed to convince the Guinness family of Dublin, Ireland, to invest in the project. The bridge was designed by the Montreal firm Montserrat and Pratley, which was later responsible for the Angus L. MacDonald Bridge in Halifax, Nova Scotia, using a similar design. With the plebiscite vote agreeing on the project, it was completed in just 5 years under the shadow of the Great Depression. Like true gentlemen, the Guinness family sold the bridge in 1922 to the province of British Columbia for $5,824,824, and the cost of the original construction at not a penny more in appreciation. More good news on the States. Treasure Island by Scottish author Robert Louis Stevenson was first published as Pirate Story, which was the first to talk about treasure maps marked with index, and one-legged seamen bearing parrots on their shoulders, from which over film and TV versions have been produced in dozens of major adaptations for the stage from 1810. Albert Einstein presented his quantum theory of light. 1908, the BBC, British Broadcasting Company, began radio broadcast. 1932, President Roosevelt declared the Philippines to be a free territory. 1935, Detroit Red Wings hockey player Gordie Howe set a new NHL record with his 6th career goal. 1965, the first public trains used the Channel Tunnel to transport passengers under the English Channel. 1935, all happened on the birthday to Johnny Antonopoulos, aka Johnny A., the virtuoso guitar player from Massachusetts who makes the guitar look like the easiest instrument in the world to play. Didn't take off until after he began his solo career around the turn of the century, releasing his acclaimed debut album sometime Tuesday morning in 1969 and being signed to fellow virtuoso Steve Vai's record label in 2001. Johnny A. CC 2.0. Tom Saunders' release of Sometime Tuesday Morning in 2010 was born the first one-instrumental single on American radio in a decade and brought about the multi-record deal with Vai and Sony. In 2003, Gibson Custom Guitar Company, in close collaboration with Johnny, released a Johnny A. signature model guitar designed to the artist's specifications. Creating an artist's signature model guitar is not something we take lightly, but sometimes a player comes along who is not only a musical innovator and artist of the highest caliber, but has innovative ideas about designing a totally new instrument. And that's Johnny, who just knocked us off our feet, said Rick Jimbar, Gibson Guitar's senior vice president. Watch him strum out a tasty jam. 1932 years ago today, Frederick Banting and Charles Best delivered the first paper on the results of their research at the University of Toronto discovery of a life-saving treatment for diabetes. 1 year earlier, Banting got an idea after reading an article about diabetes and jotted it down. That week, Banting met J. and Ross McLeod, who later arranged for Banting to use the physiology labs at the university to try out his idea. It took around 7 months for Banting and Best to make their discovery, which they published as the internal secretion of the pancreas in the Journal of Laboratory and Clinical Medicine. 6 months later, an extract was developed, which successfully alleviated the symptoms of diabetes in human beings, and Best was put in charge of the production of what would soon be named insulin for all of Canada. By 1933, insulin had become widely available in mass production, with royalties from licensing agreements going to the university, and Banting and McLeod were awarded the Nobel Prize in Medicine. Being a graduate student, Best was not included, but Banting recognized his contribution and shared his award money. 1921, Banting and Best, 1921, expired Copyright Library and Archives Canada 00120 and 118 years ago today. Herman Melville's novel Moby Dick was published, with one of the most famous opening lines in literature, "Call me Ishmael." A sailor tells the story of the obsessive quest of Captain Ahab for revenge on a white whale that bit off the whaler's leg at the knee. The novel was a commercial failure and out of print at the time of the author's death 40 years later, but during the 20th century, it earned a reputation as a great American novel. The book draws on Melville's experience at sea, on whaling literature, and on literary inspirations, such as Shakespeare and the Bible, to offer a realistic description of life aboard ship with a culturally diverse crew. 1,808 and on this day in 1911, Lech Walesa, the leader of Poland's outlawed Solidarity movement, was released after 11 months of persecution and internment near the Soviet border. Photo by Jidimin Jabonsky. CC licensed 2 years earlier, the electrician had won a sweeping victory with communist rulers for the right to organize independent unions that could strikes. He continued his activism, which culminated in semi-free parliamentary elections in 1967 and a Solidarity-led government, with a reluctant Welser becoming Poland's first popularly elected president the following year, the first non-communist president in nearly a half-century. Also 165 years ago today, pioneering female journalist Nellie Bly began her record-breaking attempt to travel around the world in 80 days. Promotional photo taken by New York World before her trip. She succeeded and needed only so. She wanted to prove that the Jules Verne fictional journey around